Hey everyone! Have you ever listened to really sweet words only to find out they were a total lie? You know, words can be beautiful, but actions tell the real truth. Today, we're exploring a super famous story by William Shakespeare called King Lear. Welcome to this explainer. Whether you read this a long time ago or maybe you've never read it at all, don't worry. I'm going to tell you the full story using simple, clear English. It's great for listening practice. We'll look closely at the characters, the deep sadness of the story, and the timeless meaning of this classic tragedy. Let's get started. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll meet the characters. Then, a king's foolish test. Next, betrayal and madness, followed by a tragic end, and finally, the deep meaning. Section 1. Meet the characters, the king and his daughters. Let's get to know the players so this mental map is super easy to follow. Okay, let's dive into this. Meet King Lear. He's an old king in Britain. He has ruled for many years with a lot of power. But now, well, he's just tired. He wants to stop being king and enjoy a peaceful rest. To do this, he decides to divide his land and his wealth among his children. But Lear has a big weakness. He's very proud, and he absolutely loves to be flattered. He loves hearing people tell him how great he is. And this sets up his massive, tragic mistake. Now, King Lear has 3 daughters, and they are completely different from each other. First, we have Goneril, the oldest, and Regan, the second daughter. They are greedy and selfish. They don't actually love their father. They only want his power, and they're totally willing to lie to get it. Then we have Cordelia. She's the youngest daughter. Cordelia is good, pure, and honest. She loves her father deeply, but she refuses to play fake games. This clear difference between the bad sisters and the good sister is the absolute key to the whole tragedy. Section 2. A King's Foolish Test. The Question of Love. Now we'll look at the one single event that starts all the trouble. King Lear brings his daughters together, and he asks them a central, dangerous question. I'm going to say it slowly. How much do you love me? He plans to give the biggest piece of land to the daughter who says she loves him the most. This is a really foolish test, right? True love isn't a contest, and it's definitely not a game to win land. So what happens? Well, Goneril and Regan are quick to tell sweet lies. They use beautiful, fake words. They say they love him more than life itself, more than anything in the entire world. But Cordelia? She's honest. When it's her turn, she simply says she loves him exactly as a daughter should love a father. No more and no less. She absolutely refuses to invent fake, sweet words just to win a prize. How does the king react? Oh, his pride is deeply hurt. He becomes completely furious with Cordelia. He's so blinded by his own ego that he just can't understand her honest, pure heart. He only cares that her words aren't as sweet as her sister's lies. So, in his anger, he makes a terrible choice. He gives all his land, money, and power to the bad daughters, Goneril and Regan, and he kicks out his good daughter, Cordelia. He sends her away from her home forever. Section 3. Betrayal and Madness. The Downfall. Things are about to get pretty dark as the bad daughters show who they really are. Almost immediately after King Lear gives his power away, Goneril and Regan show their true, cruel colors. They don't need to pretend anymore. They are incredibly mean to their father. They slowly take away all his remaining guards and his dignity. Soon, they kick him out of their homes entirely. The old king has nowhere to go. He wanders out into the wild country during a terrible storm. Beaten by the cold rain, the heavy wind, and the cruel betrayal of his own flesh and blood, the sadness becomes too heavy. King Lear's mind breaks, and he goes completely mad. A terrible storm, and he goes mad. In the middle of this dark, terrible storm, freezing wet and losing his mind, King Lear finally wakes up to the truth. He realizes he made a massive, unforgivable mistake. He sees clearly now that Goneril and Regan's sweet words were nothing but empty lies to steal his crown. And he finally understands that Cordelia's simple, plain words were the sound of true, genuine love. But sadly, this realization brings him no joy because his power is already gone. Section 4. A tragic end. Too late for a happy ending. Just a gentle warning here. This explainer is about a tragedy, so we're reaching the sad part. Far away, Cordelia hears that her father is homeless and suffering. Because her love is true, she doesn't even hesitate. She returns to Britain with an army to save him. When they finally find each other, it's a deeply moving, beautiful moment. The broken king cries, falls to his knees, and begs for her forgiveness. And Cordelia, with her gentle heart, forgives him completely. But the joy doesn't last. They have to fight the bad sister's army, and tragically, Lear and Cordelia lose the battle. They are taken prisoner. This brings us to the devastating conclusion. Because of broken trust and one foolish mistake, everything falls apart. Cordelia is cruelly killed in prison. King Lear holds the lifeless body of his only good daughter, and the grief is just too much to bear. He dies of a broken heart, right there on the ground. Meanwhile, Goneril and Regan's greed destroys them too. They turn on each other and both die because of their own dark choices. A whole family is wiped out, all starting from the king's foolish demand for sweet words. Section 5. The deep meaning. Lessons from King Lear. Let's think about what this beautiful, sad story actually means for us. There's one main idea we really need to take away from this tragedy. I'm going to read it very slowly for you. We must look at people's true actions, not just listen to their sweet words. This is the biggest lesson of the entire story. The king listened to sweet, fake words and lost his entire world. Real love is proven by what people do when times are hard, not by what they say when times are easy. This story explores 3 huge themes of the human experience. First is blindness to the truth. King Lear had perfect physical eyes, but his mind was blind. His pride stopped him from seeing who truly loved him. Second is family betrayal. The play shows us the terrible darkness that happens when family members hurt each other just to gain power and money. But third, and most beautifully, is forgiveness. Even after being sent away, Cordelia offered her father pure, unconditional forgiveness. She shows us the incredible healing power of grace. So I leave you with this final question to think about. Will you look at sweet words or true actions today? When you interact with your family and friends, remember King Lear's hard-learned lesson. Look for the true actions. Thank you so much for practicing your English with this explainer today. Keep learning, keep watching the actions of others, and I'll see you next time.